In 2023, the NRL brought in the set restart rule, and this is really important for betting on the NRL because it's obviously not as good as getting a penalty, but it definitely makes an impact. And these can be like so nonchalant that a lot of the times people just watching games hardly even realize a set restart happened, especially if you're not, 100% paying attention. And what I wanted to look at is how across the 2 years did set restarts change from year one through to year two, and also which teams have benefited the most from this rule, and also which have benefited the least. So that's what we're going to cover in this video. Everything that I cover here is just a segment from the 2025 NRL betting guide. This is a free guide that I put together to help you make money betting on the NRL this season. To get access, the link is in the description. It'll either be the waitlist for it, depending when you're watching this video, or the direct link to go and download it will be there. It's completely free. I want you guys to make sure that 2025 is your most profitable year betting on the NRL. So through this channel and through everything I put out as part of investor.bet is with the one goal of helping you do that. With the set restarts in 2023, there was a total of 694 set restarts, which breaks down to 3.26 per game. Then in 2024, that number increased to 1,141. So a breakdown of 5.36. So more than 2 extra set restart calls per game. And it's also like known as the 6 again rule, where they ring the bell and the set count goes back to 0. The first thing I want to talk about is, was there actually almost double the amount of infringements in 2024 compared to 2023? So the first thing I did is I went and looked at penalty counts, and thinking that, well, potentially in 2023, there were more penalties called and therefore less set restarts. But not only were there more penalties called in 2023, there were also more penalties again called in 2024. So the games last season had more penalties and more set restarts, which, makes this topic even more important. Then the second part of that is, okay, so there was just almost double the amount of set restarts called. Does that mean that in 2023, there were less infringements and therefore less set restarts ruled? And then 2024 teams realized, well, we can do and get away with more of these, but then that turned out not to be the case? Or was it that the referees just got more confident in calling set restarts? So after 2023, the board of directors, whatever, were happy, with how the rule played out. So they're like, well, let's, use this more and more in the next season. The way to see, which one of those statements and theories is correct is to see how it goes in 2025. Personally, I find it really hard to see them increasing it from around the 5.3 mark and there being 6, 7 set restarts per game. I think it's going to hover around this 5 to 5.5 mark, maybe even come down slightly. The thing is, though, is teams have kind of realized that giving away set restarts doesn't actually matter all that much. When we look at, the teams that have received set restarts and the teams that have conceded them, it doesn't actually contribute to more games won. The teams that got, well, quickly, the first thing I will say is the Melbourne Storm were the only side who didn't get additional set restarts in 2024. On average, they stayed at 2.5 and then 2.5 again in 2024. However, they did receive the most in 2023. So they were, out of all teams, the one less likely to receive an increase. But towards the top of the teams that received the most set restarts, Warriors and Raiders were clearly your top two at 3.7 and 3.6. Now, on the ladder, the Warriors finished 13th, and then the Raiders finished 9th overall. So both missed finals. Raiders were kind of close. Then you have the Rabbitohs finished 16th. Then the Panthers, who finished second and went on to win the premiership. Tigers, 17th. Titans, 14th. Broncos, 12th. Then the Eels at 15th. So of those top 8 sides that received the most set restarts, only the Panthers made finals out of those 8 sides. The rest of the 7 top 8 teams all were in the bottom half when it comes to receiving set restarts. Then when it comes to the amount of set restarts they concede defensively, Warriors were once again at the top, conceding the least number. But as we said, finishing 13th with only the 9 wins and a minus 62 differential, it didn't necessarily help them. Newcastle, who just scraped into the top 8, were equal with the Warriors. Then you got the Tigers once again, who finished last. Panthers, Broncos, Dragons. Then we have the Sharks, Eels, Dolphins as the top 9, then the Roosters and Storm. Looking at the top 9 teams who conceded the least number of set restarts, once again, we only have the Panthers and Sharks, who, were both top 4 teams, but outside of that, no other sides in the top 8 finished in the top 9 in set restarts conceded. And across the set restart differential, Panthers were the only side in the top 7 overall who went on to make finals. And once again, kind of like what I covered in the penalties video, set restarts, it's all about the timing of when you give away a set restart. A set restart, especially even compared to penalties, giving away a set restart on the first tackle is a lot better than giving away a set restart on the last tackle. And if teams can have the discipline of when they, be more aggressive and make an infringement that causes set restart to be called, then that's the biggest thing that's going to contribute the most. Because as we know, penalties with set restarts, the referees try to keep the count as even as possible to take the pressure off, remove that bit of scrutiny that happens in the media. But it's definitely going to be interesting what happens in 2025, how, the number of calls that are made, and then also we'll keep on track with how this impacts the teams overall. Really appreciate you guys watching. Make sure if you are serious about betting on the NRL and making money this season, download the NRL betting guide that I've created. It's about 600 pages of information, exactly like what we're sharing in this video. When I created it, my goal was that every single page you have, and it's not like a typical book with, paragraphs and paragraphs of text. It's short, sharp information that you can easily consume and scroll through. And every single page is designed with the goal that there's something on that page that's going to give you, more information to approach betting on the NRL successfully with. So, it might be about set restarts. It might be about penalties. And, there's going to be a lot more things that I'm going to be doing videos about similar to these topics. But to get it early, make sure you're on the wait list or go ahead and download it straight away. And I'm really excited to see your success betting on the NRL in 2025.